Hey. So, one of the things I think about a lot is how I used to consistently think that I was like behind, that I had missed something and that it was too late for me to change. And I was thinking about this because it's been a super rainy week in Paris, and normally I would say that. So the thing is, like, I'm already a super huge homebody. And so when it rains, especially after being in DC, I just have no desire to leave my house. And then at some point, it's kind of like, oh, I have to leave my house, but it's gray and rainy. And so then I'm just kind of not happy. And however, at some point, like yesterday, it was raining, and then the sun came out. And then I found someone at the prefecture who wants to help me and actually help me fix my issue. And so I was just in like a much better mood. And I was just thinking about how I used to sit at home or, in my apartment or living my life in DC, going to work every day, doing this thing that I didn't love. And I used to think that I was I was behind everybody else, and two, that I had somehow that it was too late for me. Like it was too late for me to do anything more. It was too late for me to build a business. I had a career, I had a life, and I was just kind of stuck there. And one of the things that I have really, really learned in the past few years is that it is never too late. And right now I'm really jumping through just so many hoops to kind of get this business started, like to do the administration of the business, because I really one of the things I was telling my friend is she said, well, can't you just start on like the design part? And I was like, yes, but you have to have the administrative part. Like that stuff has to get done no matter what. So if I just get going on the fun part, then I'm not gonna want to do all the like boring administrative stuff because it's just so boring and tedious and miserable. She said, that obviously makes a lot of sense. I was like, yes, trust me, it does. I know myself. And yet, even with that, I just can't believe that I thought that it was too late for me to start over. I felt like in many ways, my environment was like keeping me trapped. It was keeping me in that place, and that place was just not what was best for me. And oh, my hands are so ashy, sorry. And so even though, doing all this stuff isn't easy, it's definitely frustrating. Like the administration is hard. I'm having all these crazy visa issues this year. Like it's just like the situation has really spiraled in a way that just doesn't make any sense. I just have to say that I'm still grateful for it. I'm grateful that I no longer believe that it's too late for me to do something different. I'm grateful that I now have the courage to do something different in a way that I really didn't before. And you might say, oh, well, you had the courage to leave the US. I will be frank, there are aspects of that were just like downright desperation. Yeah, I left. I didn't know what the heck I was getting into, but I was also in like an incredibly desperate situation, and I just needed to get out. Now it's less about my being in like a totally desperate situation and more like, it is not too late for me to start. It's not too late. Like it was never too late. Why was I thinking like, oh, I had to have children by this age? Do I want children? Yes. I would be such a great mom, y'all. I'm gonna be so cool. but being there in the US where all my friends who I'd gone to college with and everything else had like, 2.5 kids in the house in the suburbs, and they had those lives because, you know, it helps you when you have dual income, right? It helps when you have another person who can, you know, take up the slack while you go off and you like pursue something, you know? And I remember thinking, oh, well, first I need to get married before I can, you know, do something different or change my life. And then it got like to the point where I was like, it's, you know, I'm behind schedule. You know, all my friends are married. All my friends have kids. And then it became like, I'm behind. I have this great job and, you know, that's on track. And it's like too late for me to start over. I can't start over. I'll lose everything. And it's just amazing how that traps you. Like, it's never too late. And as I'm going through everything, it's like, I have to remind myself of that every day. It is not too late. It's not too late to do something different. There is no timeline. And I don't know why we think all the time there's a timeline, but there isn't. And it's just so important for us to change our perspective and to change the way we're thinking about these things. And I think that can be really hard to do sometimes, like where you're at. So, anyway, I say all that to say that, you know, if you have been feeling that way, just know I was feeling that way. And I was even feeling that way when I like pieced out of the US, and yet here I am. It's not too late. It's not too late for me to start my fashion line. You know, it's not too late for me to be successful in that fashion line. It's not too late for me to have, you know, kids. It's not too late for me to do those things. And there is no set timeline and there's no set time frame. And I think it's just really important to like constantly, I have to remind myself of that every day. I don't know about you. Maybe you have it all figured out, but I don't. And I have to remind myself every single day that I am not too late. I am not behind schedule. There is no timeline. Just keep going. You know, like just put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. So yeah. Anyway. For my friend whom I can't find. Yesterday when I was at the Louvre with my friend Carmen, I was telling her how I wish I had majored in something artistic and then also something, you know, I guess more practical, like art history or journalism or art history and economics or something like that. And she said, oh, Adriel, it's not too late. It's never too late. Like, if you want to, why don't you like go to school for fashion design, you know, since you love that? And I was like, actually, Carmen, I'm going to start fashion line. And they said that she was like, good, kind of thinking about where the turning point my logic was on that. And I really do think that it had to deal with a moment when I accepted, like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And now I know, like, not having all the what I'm doing, but no one else knows what they're doing. And I think that one of the things that happens so often on social media and everything else is that it can look like everybody is on a plan and they know what they're doing. And actually, none of us know what we're doing. We're all just faking it. We're all just like doing our best. And when you accept like, hey, I'm doing my best, then you know there's no timeline. Because how can there be a timeline that you're chasing and like pushing yourself up against when nobody else knows what they're doing and everyone is just trying to do their best? So yeah, those were like some late night reflections for me. So where am I now? I'm off to go get tassels because God bless Carmen. She told me the word for tassels in French and where I can get them from. And I really want some to attach to like my keys.
That's it. Little tassels. So off we go. Also, a French older lady just stopped me on the street. Was like, Madame, the outfit is so cute. You look so nice. You look so put together. I don't know why all women will dress so nice. Thank you, Mom. So here's what I'm wearing.
After receiving that compliment from the cute French older lady, I thought I would show you some of the outfits I've been styling lately for spring. Since I'm really leaning into restyling items that I already have in my wardrobe, I decided to pull out this fun shirt. It's a popover that I bought from J. Crew forever ago, but the best part of it is that it's covered in Paris. The print consists of baguettes, croissants, mini Eiffel Towers, berets, and so on and so forth. I paired it with this long denim skirt that I purchased from Marks & Spencer's during my recent trip to London. It's a nice heavy denim but still comfortable, which is exactly what I want in my spring denim. To give the outfit a little bit of fun, I paired it with my blue belt bag from Sunweb and my little red Corelle heels. I'm leaning heavily into slingbacks this spring. I just want my foot to breathe a little, even if it's not warm enough to just pull out the sandals. These are from Ralph Lauren, and I love Ralph Lauren shoes because they are padded, which makes them incredibly comfortable. However, I do of course always have to protect the little toe. I'm also having a lot of fun with white shirts and oversized white shirts. This is one that I bought from a vintage store and it has a cute little Betty Boop on it. The great thing about slingbacks and an oversized white shirt is that you can pair them with so many types of denim. So which pair of denim do you prefer? These light straight leg or the darker wide leg? Last but not least, I'm bringing out another pair of denim that I bought during a previous trip to London from Marks & Spencer's. To make the outfit feel a little bit more refined, I'm doing my button-down shirt that I purchased again during my recent trip from With Nothing Underneath. And then I'm also adding on a light jacket I bought from a shop in Paris and yet another pair of Corelle heels. If you want to see more of what I bought in London, or if you didn't already see it, remember to definitely go check out my most recent London vlog. And of course, let me know what you think of these spring outfits. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful outside today. It's so sunny. It's going to be like 74 degrees. Here's my outfit. I'm wearing the set from Magda Bertram H&M collab. So it's a cute little look. Sorry if I'm not showing it. But yes, the sun is out. It's a beautiful day. I think I'm at my friend's house. So, I'm doing this video because I think it's important for you to know that it's never too late to stay out past your bedtime and listen to French people who are slightly intoxicated scream on the street. I hope you enjoy listening to French people who are slightly intoxicated scream on the street. I did not get to bed until quite late last night because I was out with a friend and then the bus I was going to take all of a sudden wasn't running. So I ultimately ended up like walking most of the way home and then I was able to catch the bus. So yeah, but I'm just kind of tired. I'm a little tired. And I really want to lay back down, but I am not going to do so. I'm going to keep going, get up and moving. You know, it's interesting. I had a conversation with my mom and we were talking about it. She was like, you know, I'm really at the point now, I just want to kind of live like a really chill life. You know, I don't want to have to kind of do advocacy work. I really want to just kind of, you know, I want to plant a garden. And she said something that I thought was interesting. She said, you know, so often we think like this life has to be about like struggle, and you know, it doesn't. This life has to be about living. And I said, yes, Mom, I know. That's literally life in France. Life is about living. It's not about struggle. But you do have to like think about, you know, how do I create the life that I want to live, you know? And part of that is just really, you know, you just really have to kind of think through like how you do that. So it's yet another day of thinking through how I do that, how I build the life I want to have, how I show myself mercy and grace in doing it, because there are days when I'm better at it than others. There are days that are hard, there are days that are not, but it really is about like figuring that out, and yet a new day of doing things I have never done before, but it's going to be okay. And every day my French is improving, which is really the best part, because learning a language is hard. So yeah, anyway, well, I'll talk to you later. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.